In terms of body, we do want you to be healthy at Santa Clara. And there are a number of ways we provide for that as well. So we have our full-size gym, Olympic-sized swimming pool. We are an NCAA Division I sports university, so we offer 20 different sports at that level. Our women's soccer team is phenomenal. They just won the national championship. We also have a great men's baseball, basketball program, and a number of other really incredible sports and a new athletics facility. So a lot of ways for you to actually go and watch those sports, get involved, and become a part of that aspect of our culture. We also have a number of clubs on campus that are going to be really related to being outdoors and being active. Because we live in such a beautiful part of the world, we really want our students to have access to opportunities outside. And actually, these are student-run organizations that students have come up with where they can come together and get outside and stay active. So we have, for example, Into the Wild, which is a really popular club where students will go out hiking and backpacking and be out in nature. We also have a yoga and meditation club, which is all about being around campus and around the area, doing yoga and meditating together. So really great ways for students to stay healthy. The service element at Santa Clara is going to be focused primarily on one class that you must take, and then the rest is optional. And you'll find that a lot of our students do choose to get themselves involved and to engage in service. But that class that you'll take is called an experiential learning for social justice class. That's where you'll learn really interesting things in the classroom, and then you'll head out into the local area and you'll give back in some way. So it's a very, very exciting opportunity for you to understand what's happening in different cultures right outside of our door, and for you to kind of cross some of those social divides. So that's a little bit about the Jesuit mission and philosophy at Santa Clara University. The next thing that makes Santa Clara unique is that we are a mid-sized university. So we have just about 5,500 undergraduate students and an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio with 23 students to a class. So what does this mean? How does this feel, right? So when you're on campus, you're walking to class every day, you're going to see people you know and people you don't know. You have this opportunity to really and meet people every day, but also to feel this sense of community and a sense of family on campus. One of the things that our students highlight the most is that Santa Clara feels like family, feels like a really strong community. So I think that's a huge benefit to you as a student. The 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio means that you really have access to your professors, a lot of opportunity to build relationship with them and actually chat with them. They will know your name, especially because with class sizes at 23 students, you really have a lot of opportunity, not only with your professor, but also with your peers. A lot of collaborative work happens at Santa Clara. This is one of my favorite things about being a Bronco, about my time at Santa Clara, is really being able to get to know my professors and build those relationships. They're still actually active parts of my life. I have a number of professors who are still mentors for me, who write letters of recommendation for me. So it's I really strongly recommend this sort of class size and student to faculty ratio, because it gives you that opportunity to build those relationships. At Santa Clara, we also have a 95% retention rate. So that means that of the students who come for their first years at Santa Clara, 95% return for more the next year. And then we also have an 88% four-year graduation rate, which means that of the students who come to Santa Clara for 4 years, 88% of them finish on time. Okay, so many universities these days are using more of a 5- and 6-year model. Santa Clara, we want you to be able to complete your degree on time. Many of our students actually end up doing multiple majors and additional minors. All right, so now I want to go into talking a little bit about our 3 undergraduate colleges. When you apply to Santa Clara, you're going to select one of those 3 colleges. This here is a picture of one of our seminar rooms in the Levy School of Business. So business is about 27% of our undergrad population. Is the mid-sized college at our university. In the Levy School of Business, you can do a degree in economics, accounting, marketing, and management, finance, AIS, MIS. The School of Business is a really incredible program primarily for two reasons that I want to highlight. First of all, we have what are called professors of practice in this school. So these are professors who've actually worked in the industry. They've been managers, directors, CEOs, CFOs, and now they're at Santa Clara to teach students and bring the benefit of their skill, knowledge, experience, and network right into the classroom. We also offer the 4+1 program. That's a bachelor's and master's degree in 5 years. So for those of you who are excited about getting a master's degree, this is a great program for you to take advantage of and to complete those 2 degrees in less time. I have a friend who studied accounting in a Levy School of Business, and by the end of her junior year, she already had a job offer at KPMG, one of the big 4 accounting firms. And that's a relatively common story in the School of Business. The College of Arts and Sciences represents 55% of our undergrad population, so it is by far our largest college. You're going to find anything from computer science and mathematics to theater arts in this school. So there are so many ways for you to engage different parts of your brain and different interests, right? So a lot of students in this college will double major or add on minors. In the College of Arts and Sciences, we do have pre-health, pre-law, and pre-education tracks. You can actually add those advising tracks onto any major you take across the whole university. So you could study business and still add pre-law, for example. So these are basically programs where you would be connected with an advisor who would help you prepare for the next step of your education, potentially help you prepare for any exams that you have, applications to grad schools, and just make sure that you're on the right track to continue in this profession that you're interested in. The College of Arts and Sciences is a great place to go for so many students. And as I mentioned before, the outcomes here are truly wonderful and exciting. You'll find our students in so many different areas. I have a friend who studied biology and pre-health. And by the end of her time at Santa Clara, she was on track to go to med school. Now she is a doctor of orthopedics. And then another friend who studied communication and theater. And she ended up pivoting and working in marketing for a marketing firm here in the Silicon Valley. So she decided after an internship she took to kind of take a totally different track. So a lot of ways that you can actually pivot based on the information you get or the major you get, and still kind of know that you're on the right track and you have these transferable skills that many, many employers are looking for. The School of Engineering is our smallest college, but man, is it mighty. They do some incredible work here. We did build a brand new STEM facility for any science, technology, engineering, math program. This building will be open to all students. However, we are going to be holding specific labs and specific offices in this building. So the School of Engineering, you can take on a major in electrical, mechanical, computer science and engineering, bioengineering, and a number of others. We also offer minors that match each of these different majors. The School of Engineering has 2 things that I want to highlight. The 4+1 program is also offered through this school. That's that 4 years or 5 years to complete a bachelor's and master's degree. And then we also do what's called a senior design project. So this is a project where students come together interdisciplinarily and they create something. So I've had students create prosthetic legs and fully sustainable tiny houses. There are so many different things that you can do with this senior design project that really are very, very exciting and also really helpful on that resume as you're looking at applying, and then being able to articulate and talk about your project with employers has proven to be really helpful for a number of students in the past. Another friend of mine was a first-generation student, so first in her family to go to college. She studied electrical engineering. She did the 4+1, so got her master's degree. And now she is working in medical devices here in Silicon Valley. I just wanted to give you a little sense for what student life looks like on campus. Since you can't actually come to campus right now, we have, this is kind of an idea of what the arts look like can either be a spectator or a performer. The arts is open to anybody to audition for. And I find that a lot of our students, even if they don't like to be in the performing arts, love to attend. And then it's the same thing for athletics. Students who are not necessarily athletes love to go and watch and support. One thing I didn't mention about athletics is we do have a club and intramural level as well. So for those of you who don't play at the Division I level, you can play club sports. We have 17 different club sports, and then you can also play intramural, and intramurals tend to be so much fun. I know that like Ultimate Frisbee is one of the favorites on campus. This is just a little sense for our learning facilities or our living facilities or residential learning communities. So we do divide our students into different communities, and they form the basis for many of your friendships at the beginning. And then more of that can grow out of different areas, different clubs, different classes that you're in. These are a great way for you to build community at Santa Clara. If you have any questions about living at Santa Clara, please send them in. I want to make sure we move on and talk a little bit about the application process. So when you apply to Santa Clara, as I mentioned, you're going to need to apply to one of our 3 colleges, College of Arts and Sciences, School of Business, or the School of Engineering. One thing I'll mention here is that it can be difficult for you to change your school. So while it's relatively easy to change your major within your school, it can be a challenge for you to actually swap into a different school, especially if you want to go into business or into engineering. If you want to do an internal transfer, there would be an application process. So for those of you who are interested in business or engineering or think you might be, I recommend that you start preparing your application for one of those schools, the school that you most would like to be in, because of that potential for it being challenging to transfer in. And the main reason for this is both of these schools are smaller, so they are competitive, and really it depends on the number of people who leave the school to allow you to enter. So applying as a first year is a little bit more straightforward. That being said, they are also slightly more competitive when you're applying as a first year student right off the bat. Also because of their size, because they're slightly smaller and because of our location in the Silicon Valley. So they are more competitive. However, it's nothing to be worried about. If this is where you would like to go, I recommend that you do apply. The main things that I would highlight about the differences between applying to arts and sciences, business and engineering is looking at what types of classes you've taken. So we'll talk a little bit about that now. When you apply to Santa Clara, we're going to look at this holistic approach, right? So we're looking at the personal side and the academic side. On the academic side, we're going to begin with looking at your GPA. So whatever school you attend, we get what's called a secondary school report. This is all the information on your school. It shares the types of classes available to you, the type of curriculum you're in, and then we are all able to review that, understand it, and then understand how you did within the context of what was offered to you. And then from there, we'll get what's called, we'll get our GPA, and the GPA is on a 4.0 unweighted scale. We do not add a weight to that GPA. So if you did take any higher level advanced courses, AP, some of you I know are at schools where they offer AP or potentially IB program classes, we're not going to put a numerical weight on it, but we are going to look at the rigor separately. And course rigor is very important to us. We really want to see that you took advantage of some of those higher level, higher intensity courses as you were in high school. Particularly looking at that business and engineering, here's one thing that makes students more competitive for these schools. And that would be that they've taken advantage of courses that align with the major that they're interested in, the school that they're interested in at that higher level. So for example, for business and engineering, we love to see when students have taken rigorous math courses. So for example, AP, BC calculus is a great way to make yourself competitive, even AB calculus. And then also in engineering, we'll be looking at potentially science, right? These are ways to make your application just that little bit more competitive in the application process. In terms of, so that's the academic side. We are test optional for the coming year, so you do not need to submit a test this coming year. We are working on what that's going to look like going forward. In terms of the personal side, it remains very similar to what you would expect in other different colleges you're applying to. We really are going to be looking at your extracurricular activities. It's super important to us. We love to see what you've been doing with your free time. We don't much mind what you've been doing, but we want to see that it has been productive and has been helping you on your path to discerning what it is that you want to do in terms of a career, well, major first and then a career, and on and on. So we really are interested in what you're interested in. And you'll find that students at Santa Clara have a very wide variety of interests. There's no one thing that we really need to see. So definitely just share what you're passionate about in that space. You also have the opportunity there to share community service that you've taken on as a student. We are very interested in any sort of service that you like to do. As a Jesuit university, that is an important element for us. We will then be looking at a personal statement. This is an opportunity for you to add any information to your application that you haven't already shared, sharing a story, sharing something. You really want to narrow it down as much as you can. It's only one page, right? So thinking about something that's really important to you that you want us to know about. And then we also have a writing supplement. This is for you to share why Santa Clara, what is it about us that's really exciting to you. Letters of recommendation, you can send in one from a teacher, that's required, and then up to 3 total. So you can also send us maybe one from a counselor, from another teacher, from a coach. It's really up to you as an employer or a boss. So many different options there, but 1 required, 2 recommended, 3 if you would like to. Okay. I also want to highlight while we're here on this slide that it's really important to us that we know when students apply that they are excited about Santa Clara. And one of the ways that we do that is with demonstrated interest. So I did already paste inside the chat feature a specific registration link for this event. I'm going to paste it again for anyone who might have missed it. Please go to that link right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I just sent it to one person. Sorry, I sent it to everyone now. Go to that link and make sure that you sign up for this event. Register, show that you were here today. First of all, this is going to get you on our mailing list. We'll be able to send you some more information, but it's also going to show up on your account that you took the time to listen to this conversation and you actually know who we are. We really like to read applications from students who know who Santa Clara is and say, hey, I like that. I want to be a part of that. Considered as those are really important elements. As international students, for those of you who are not US citizens, we are going to be looking at a couple of other things. English proficiency is very important to us. There are a number of ways you can demonstrate that. If you attended a high school where the primary language was English spoken for all 4 years, your English proficiency would be waived. Otherwise, we accept Duolingo, TOEFL, and IELTS, right? So those are the 3 exams. You can find more information on that on our website. It's pretty clear. And also, of course, reach out to me if you have more questions. And then we also do require a financial resource form for all students who are international. So the reason for that financial resource form is that we do not have need-based aid available for international students. So we do want to make sure that when students apply to Santa Clara, they are aware that the responsibility for the funding is on them. We do consider all of our international students in a merit-based pool. Our merit-based awards tend to go to the top 10 to 15% of our admitted student population. So they can be quite competitive. And I do not recommend that you plan to rely on that to cover the full cost of attendance, right? So that's definitely something for you to keep in mind. Those of you who are US citizens, you're welcome to submit a FAFSA and a CSS profile, which will help us determine what sort of government need-based sources of funding are available to you, okay? Couple more notes before I stop blabbing at you and let you ask me questions. Make sure you send those questions into the chat if you haven't already. I know that Conroy is going to be ready to help moderate that Q&A pretty soon here. In terms of the deadlines coming up, we have a couple that I want you to keep in mind. We have our November 1 deadline that's coming up quick here. That's going to be your early action and early decision 1 deadline. So early action is simply early. This is when we receive nearly half of our applications. This is a great opportunity for students who are really ready to go. They feel prepared, they have all their documents lined up. And also if you feel like, your application is as strong as it's gonna get, right? I encourage students to apply when they are strongest. So early action is a great choice if you feel like this is as strong as I'm gonna be, I'm ready to apply. You're then going to hear back from us by mid-December. So really great opportunity for you to hear earlier and kind of get a sense for what your options might be. Early decision 1 is binding. So if you apply early decision to any university and you are admitted, it means that you will attend that university. So early decision is a great option for that #1 school that you are most excited to attend. I would highly recommend that you consider this option. If you feel like finances aren't going to be a major issue here, if you're going to need to compare financial aid packages, then you may want to hold off an early decision because you are saying yes to the university before you've seen the financial aid merit-based and based included in that. So something to keep in mind as you're looking at your applications. Early decision 2 is the same thing as early decision 1. It's just later. So it's January 7th, again, binding. So for those of you who are really excited about Santa Clara, early decision is a great option. It is a smaller pool, so there is a benefit there. And then regular decision is January 7th. This is when we get the majority of our applications. This is for any student who's just got their stuff ready to go in January. And many students who feel like, I really want admission to be able to review my first semester or first quarter of my senior year. So for those of you who feel like that's going to be a really important element for you to highlight your skills and abilities in the application, that is a good option for you. All right. With that, I am now done talking at you.